We'll start out with NBC News here. They have a very biased article with Kyle Rittenhouse and against Trump and everything that's been going on, but you'll see once we start reading it. Internal document shows Trump officials were told to make comments sympathetic to Kyle Rittenhouse. In prepping DHS officials for questions about Rittenhouse, the document suggests they say he took a gun to Kenosha to help defend small business owners, which actually isn't even true information. He did not take the gun to Kenosha. It never left Wisconsin. That is evidence we do know now. So maybe you should update that, NBC News. Washington, federal law enforcement officials were directed to make public comments sympathetic to Kyle Rittenhouse, the teenager charged with fatally shooting two protesters in Kenosha, two rioters. Wisconsin, according to internal Department of Homeland Security talking points obtained by NBC News. In preparing Homeland Security officials for questions about Rittenhouse from the media, the document suggests that they note that he took his rifle to the scene of the rioting to help defend small business owners, which he actually didn't. He didn't. It wasn't his gun. Never left Wisconsin. He did not travel over state lines with it. Another set of talking points distributed to Homeland Security officials said the media were incorrectly labeling the group Patriot Prayer as racist after clashes erupted between the group and protesters in Portland, Oregon. It is unclear whether any of the talking points originated at the White House or within Homeland Security's own press office. Rittenhouse, 17, supported Trump and police on his social media pages before he traveled from his home in Antioch, Illinois to Kenosha on August 25th with an AR-15 style rifle. Please update your information because that is completely wrong. Authorities said Rittenhouse was arrested on first-degree murder charges and is fighting extradition to Wisconsin. His attorneys argue that he was acting in self-defense, which, from the video evidence, really seems to be. 3 former Homeland Security officials, 2 of whom worked for Republican administrations, said it was unusual for law enforcement officials to be instructed to weigh in on a case involving a particular group or individual before investigations had concluded. It is unprecedented as it is wrong, said Peter Bugard, who was a spokesperson for Homeland Security during the Obama administration. The Rittenhouse talking points also say Kyle was seen being chased and attacked by rioters before allegedly shooting 3 of them, killing 2. Hey, you said rioters. Thank you. Subsequent video has emerged reportedly showing that there were multiple gunmen involved, which would lend more credence to the self-defense claims. The document instructs officials, if they are asked about Rittenhouse, to say they are not going to comment on an ongoing investigation and to say that what I will say is that Rittenhouse, just like everyone else in America, is innocent until proven guilty and deserves a fair trial based on all the facts, not just the ones that support a certain narrative. This is why we try the accused in the court of law, not the star chamber of a public opinion. Bravo. Officials were instructed to bring conversations back to the need to preserve law and order. This is why we need to stop the violence in our cities. Chaotic and violent situations lead to chaotic, violent, and tragic outcomes. Everyone needs law and order. Says does not comment on alleged leaked documents. Trump has expressed sympathy for Rittenhouse. And so, and then this just goes off about, Trump and the Proud Boys, and they're just saying, all the other news, all the stuff we know at the debate, all that crap. But next, I guess I should say first. We got from Joe Biden a new video. I can't play it, but he's trying to, say Trump's supporting white supremacy. He tries to bring up, Charlottesville. And then there's a picture of Kyle Rittenhouse that just shows up, basically claiming that he's a white supremacist. And I'm disgusted by Joe Biden. This is horrendous. He is throwing a 17-year-old kid under the bus and calling him a white supremacist for defending himself and the community where he works in. He was seen with giving aid to other protesters and rioters. He was seen with a fire extinguisher extinguishing fires that the rioters were starting. And then he was attacked because of a misunderstanding from a person who probably thought he was somebody else. Because this person was trying to start a fight with somebody who also had a gun, who had the same colored shirt, but definitely a different colored hat. And there was a few other, and the other guy was wearing, tactical armor and stuff too, but whatever. So, Joe, this is horrendous. This needs to be taken down like immediately. This is degrading. I can't believe you just threw a 17-year-old kid under the bus like that. The fact that anyone would support that just shows the degrading level of intellect that they have to just slander a 17-year-old kid as they would, especially when we know with video evidence that it is self-defense. That's horrible. At least good on Lynn Wood though, because she's going to sue Joe Biden. Accused killer Kyle Rittenhouse plans to sue Biden for libel, attorney says. An attorney for Kyle Rittenhouse, who is accused of killing 2 protesters during demonstrations sparked by police shooting at Jacob Blake, has announced plans to sue Joe Biden and his campaign for libel after he tweeted a video suggesting the Illinois teen is a white supremacist, according to a report. The Democratic presidential candidate wrote in his tweet, which contains the 50-second clip, that there's no other way to put it. The President of the United States refused to disavow white supremacists on the debate stage last night. The post refers to a question Fox News host Chris Wallace asked President Trump during the presidential debate about whether he was willing to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities. Wallace also cited unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where Blake, 29, was shot in the back by a police officer. We already know all this. But the clip also includes an image of Rittenhouse, who has been charged with using a Smith & Wesson AR-15 style .223 rifle to kill 2 men and injure a third during a Black Lives Matter riot in Kenosha, where he was protecting businesses from arson and looting. I like how they don't point out that Blake also was trying to steal someone's children of a lady that he did very, very bad things to in regards to the sexual nature. The teen's lawyers have argued that he fired in self-defense. Wood told Fox News on Wednesday that he planned to sue the former Veep and his campaign on his client's behalf, which he should. That is insane. As we see right now, 2.9 million views. 3 million people. Well, not, I guess we wouldn't say. 3 million views, and at least well over 1 million to 2 million people have now seen Kyle Rittenhouse picture, and then the word white supremacist going on in the background and around him. And now, and it coming from Joe Biden. It leaves me speechless, because this is just sickening. And yeah, I guarantee you that I hopefully they win. Lynn Wood's got a really good track record. She got the Covington kid. She's probably gonna get Kyle Rittenhouse on self-defense. And now this, oh man, he's gonna be making bank. Yeah, Biden's gonna be having a huge problem coming really soon, really soon. We got from Breitbart, a fact check. Joe Biden claims Trump told Proud Boys to stand ready based on the outcome of the election. Claim Joe Biden said President Donald Trump told Proud Boys to stand ready based on the outcome of the election. Verdict is false. Well, I mean, he kind of said to stand by, just chill. It's like, you just chill, I guess. I'd be there. It's like the Proud Boys aren't a white supremacist group, and we know that to be true. And the way that the media is just smearing them like it's nothing is insane. They even held their last rally was completely nonviolent. They drank some beers and they went home. That was it. There weren't confrontations. But yet, for some reason, there was a state of emergency issued over that rally, but not the 100 nights of rioting that happened. And the police were allowed to use tear gas again, which wasn't allowed to be used during the riots where there was destruction of businesses and people being killed and or losing their eyesight by blinded by, lasers and such, or possibly being burnt for the rest of their lives. And who knows, there's a lot of fire going around. Well, we got the transcript. Wallace, you have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa. That's right. The other left-wing extremist groups, but But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups? First of all, militia groups don't need to be condemned. Militia groups are legally allowed under the Constitution. That is our constitutional right to form a militia. Says Trump, sure. Wallace, and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland. Sure, I'm willing to do that. Are you prepared specifically to do it? I would say, go ahead, sir. I would say almost everything I see is from left wing, not from the right wing. So what are you saying? I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace. Well, then do it, sir. I am. Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you call them, what do you call them? Give me a name. Give me a name. White supremacist and right-wing militias. Which militias are allowed to be formed. Just saying. Maybe you should understand the Constitution, Chris Wallace. Trump, go ahead. Would you like to condemn? Go ahead. Who would you like to condemn? White supremacists. The Proud Boys. Who? White supremacists and right-wing militia. Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left because this is not a right-wing problem. His own FBI director said, this is a left-wing problem. This is a left-wing problem. The threat comes from white supremacists. Antifa is an idea, not an organization. Oh, you got to be kidding. Not militia. Not militia. That's what his FBI. Oh, really? FBI. Okay. His FBI director said, they just start interrupting each other constantly, so it starts to become nonsense after a while. That's why it's hard to read. Here's how Biden described that exchange in his Pennsylvania speech. And you heard what he said last night when he was asked by the moderator, will you condemn white supremacy? And he fuddled around, didn't say anything. I said, how about the Proud Boys? And he said, well, the context he said, just tell them to stand down and stand by. Go online, look up Proud Boys. They've got a new emblem now. Literally, it says stand down and stand by, implying that if he loses the election, something might have to be done. And here's how Biden summarized that exchange in his Ohio speech. When asked, would he condemn white supremacy, he didn't say a word. Then when I said, well, how about the Proud Boys, which is a white supremacist group, he said, well, I just told them to stand down and stand ready. Stand down and stand ready based on the outcome of the election? Not only did Biden lie about Trump's response on the question of white supremacy in general, he lied about what Trump said about the Proud Boys in particular. Biden evidently meant to suggest that Trump was reserving the option of violence after the election if he lost. The violence in the country this year has been almost exclusively left-wing Democrats' own war game. Their word for the election included Biden refusing to accept the results of the election if Trump won, and the West Coast states seceding from the Union awaiting military intervention to decide the outcome. That is very true. They had the war game meeting, all the Democrats, where they had Podesta being as Biden. And he said he would not stand down to the election. He would fight with every ounce of strength. He would do anything. Seceding the nation, seceding from the Union, and just complete violence all over the place. It's getting demoralizing. Completely demoralizing, to say the least. It's not that I'm hard to find on words. It's just you get so depressed and sad to start seeing all this, all the lies, all the mayhem and chaos, and it's. I guess that's why I got to start that video on the demoralizing state of media, where I'll just cover every little bit of it and how it's just there to batter you down into nothingness. But next, we got from Breitbart, leftists called to cancel debates. They are a danger to public safety and a direct threat to black life. Left-wing figures across the board demanded the remaining presidential debates be canceled because the entire spectacle they say was stupid, which it pretty much was, and future debates would serve as a danger to public safety and a direct threat to black life. How is two people talking just a direct threat to black life? Oh, it's because you're calling one side a white supremacist group when the side that you're actually defending owned slaves back in the day and still says some pretty racist stuff nowadays. Joe Biden. Maybe you should look it up. Maybe you should probably look up some of his old quotes, because I can't really say them on YouTube, because I'll get banned if I say them. And then we got, from The Intercept here, neo-fascist Proud Boys exult over Trump, telling them to stand by, not stand down. So they want to cancel the debates. They're just going to call the Proud Boys neo-fascists and white supremacists, even though they're not. And even considering the black chairman of Proud Boys, he speaks out. He's an Afro-Cuban American. He's half black, half Cuban, and he's American, and he loves to be American. So why are a bunch of white supremacists taking orders from a black Cuban? Does that make any particular sense to you? You think a white supremacist wouldn't associate with them? But no, the Twitter crazies they'll just make up whatever. It's like, no. He's a race traitor. They're all race traitors then. That's what they end up saying. It's like, geez, you guys are just insane. It's like he has his own viewpoint. He loves America. They're easily not to white supremacist groups. And if you looked up their last rally, you'd easily see that it was just a test on bias. A state of emergency was called, and the use of tear gas was allowed again. It was completely biased, and they called it out. They did nothing. They're like, all right, we only had a couple hundred people. We drank some beer and we left. That's all we did. We were just testing their bias because we aren't a threat. All I got to say right now, though, is that Kyle Rittenhouse, you need to be going after Joe Biden so hard. What he did is a complete disgrace. Completely disgraceful to the American way. What he's doing to you is just horrible and sickening. And whoever votes for him, boy, I hope you feel deep, deep regret that knowing that you're willing to throw a 17-year-old kid under the bus for your own political agenda. I'm going to leave it there. I have another video coming up. I'll see you then.